In the headlines, power supply restored after collapse of national grid. Acting Inspector General of Police warns people in possession of illegal firearms to surrender them or face the law. Appeal Court reverses Elumelu's victory in House of Representatives seat dispute. And away from Nigeria, Libya buries thousands in mass graves after flood. Mayor says death toll could triple. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Update. I am Nten Ekpan. And on the news in full, power supply has been restored after the national electricity grid collapsed on Thursday. The grid collapse resulted in a massive loss of supply to power distributors nationwide. But hours after this, the Eco Electricity Distribution Company said power supply has been restored from the grid. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, had earlier confirmed the collapse of the national grid, but assured that efforts are in top gear to fix the problem. TCN General Manager Public Affairs Ndidi Mba said in a statement that the grid restoration nationwide is in progress and has reached advanced stages, with power supply now available in the west, north central, and south, ensuring stability. While explaining the reason for the collapse, the TCN said it occurred after a fire incident on Kanji Jeba 330 kV line 2, but added that the matter is being investigated with a view to forestalling future occurrence and invariably further strengthening the grid. And earlier, the former acting managing director of Transmission Company of Nigeria, Atiku Tambuwal, says a lasting solution should be provided to prevent the incessant collapse of the country's national grid. He said this on Trust TV's program, Business Daily.
Yeah, I think the grid has really enjoyed some relative stability over the first 1 year because we have done a lot of things to stabilize it in terms of generation and in terms of maintenance of the transmission lines. But this is really surprising that it has happened after a long relief, but then it can be attributed to many factors, which some are unpredictable and some are beyond the control of the operators. Mostly voltage and frequency are the determining factors. A large excursion in this means if there are a big variation in frequency and voltage, the system is bound to collapse. Yes, there's a lot of work that can be done, and I know a lot is being done to address that, particularly the generation side, if it is stabilized, that we can be able to generate slightly above or at least what we require, which I can assure you is not possible for now. What we require, we know, is in excess of a minimum of 20,000 megawatts, and we are on 4,000 megawatts, 5,000. So you can see that gap is still there. So unless we are able to bridge that gap, that is when we can say we have permanently eliminated system collapse from generation side. And on the transmission side, we have a lot to be done in terms of maintenance of the line, expansion of the line, so that power is delivered to where it is required in our in the country, and also maintain it, because a slight obstruction on the line, if it trips, if it is 330 kV line, a large chunk of load will be reduced, and this will cause higher frequency, and the system will not absorb it. Also, there are other variables like spinning reserve, which is also to be provided, so that when such collapse is bound to happen, when there is this imbalance, this spinning reserve we have in generation will come up to save the system. It's just like shock absorber, but it's virtually non-existent now. So unless and until we are able to reach that stage where we have adequate spinning reserve, we will continue to have this kind of instability in the system. Well, it takes a lot for us to achieve that. We have to have the commitment from government, commitment from industry players, both in terms of generators, the transmission, of course, and also the distribution side. We all have to collaborate. We have to synergize so that whatever is available, we make use of it optimally and also look at the system where we have deficiencies and address them adequately. I think this presidential power initiative is one of those measures that has been considered to eliminate this kind of instability. I believe we will get there one day. It just needs commitment from all sides.
Former acting managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Atiku Tambuwal, they're talking on ways to avoid incessant collapse of the national grid. And moving on now, Niger state government says it has plans to reopen 11 out of the 42 public schools shut across the state due to insecurity. And recall that the state government had shut the 42 schools in 2021 at the peak of the frequent invasion of some boarding schools across the state, but later reopened some and shut the 11 which were more prone to insecurity. Mostly affected were female students across the state, especially the kidnap of 99 girls from Salihu Tanko Islamia School, Tegina, in Rafi local government area. Now, despite all steps taken to secure their release by the state government, local government and communities involved, the students, mostly female and children, spent almost 90 days in the kidnappers' den. Some of the schools to be reopened are in Wushishi, Lavon, and Gurara local government areas of the state. Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education Hadiza Mohammed, who held an emergency meeting with major stakeholders in the education sector in Mina on Wednesday, said the decision to reopen the school was as a result of improved security in the affected communities. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered illegal firearms owners in the country to submit their arms to the nearest police station within their locality or face the full wrath of the law. Egbetokun, who gave the order at a press conference where he highlighted the successes of the Nigerian police in the past 5 weeks, also hinted of the police's stand on security checkpoints across the country, off-cycle elections in November, and other security challenges in the country. Noel Sanson has more.
Acting IGP Kayode Egbetokun, while highlighting the successes of the Nigeria Police Force in the past 5 weeks, said his warnings to those in possession of illegal firearms in the country became imperative to ensure that such arms do not pose a threat to the nation's internal security.
The Nigerian Police Force has effectively disrupted multiple infamous criminal syndicates involved in organized crimes. All individuals involved in the wrongful possession of arms and light weapons are hereby warned to submit such illegally possessed weapons to the police at the police station nearest to them. This will attract no sanction.
The acting IGP, who ordered all state commissioners of police to dismantle all non-security checkpoints across the country, also addressed security concerns ahead of the off-cycle election in November.
We are equally aware of the challenge posed by the continued presence of unauthorized persons on the various highways around the country in the guise of revenue collection, who constantly constitute nuisance on the highways by obstructing the flow of traffic and engaging in mischievous activities such as the seizure of vehicles, collection of fines, and other unlawful activities. All state commissioners of police are hereby directed to immediately commence the dismantling of such non-security checkpoints within their areas of responsibilities. What we are doing to secure the elections in the 3 states that we're having elections in November. Well, it's an off-season election. We are going to leverage on the fact that the elections are limited to just 3 states to deploy adequately for this election.
Egbetokun also addresses and issues around cyber crime.
In response to the escalating cyber threats targeting the banking and financial sector, as well as the unfortunate incidents of several unsuspecting members of the public falling prey to high-yield investment fraud, the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center, NPF-NCC, was given approval to convene a pivotal symposium which brought together compliant and fraud desk officers from various banks across the country, with the primary objective of fostering active collaboration and engagement in our ongoing fight against cybercrime.
The acting IGP further reaffirmed the commitment of the police towards the safety of lives and properties of Nigerians. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Sokoto State Police Command has confirmed the killing of 4 persons and the abduction of 18 others in Giyawa village of Goronyo local government area of the state. Spokesman of the command, ASP Ahmed Rufai, who confirmed the incident, said the assailants also carted away valuables including livestock. According to Rufai, 7 of the abducted victims later escaped and returned to the community. He, however, disclosed that many residents have fled the community. Rufai assured that the operatives of the command are on the trail of the assailants, adding that efforts are being made to ensure that normalcy is restored in the community. Although the police maintain that only 11 persons are still being held by the bandits, a source in the community alleged that over 30 persons were abducted. There was excitement on the streets of Asaba, the Delta State capital, on Thursday as residents of Aniocha or Shimili Federal Constituency celebrated the appeal court judgment reversing the tribunal victory of Ndudi Elumelu of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. In the judgment, the appeal court upheld the victory of Ngozi Okolie of the Labour Party. Elumelu of the People's Democratic Party was declared winner of the February 25 election by the tribunal after it voided the victory of Ngozi Okolie of the Labour Party. Delivering judgment this Thursday, the appeal court faulted the tribunal for voiding Okolie's election and proceeded to dismiss the petition filed by Elumelu. The Court of Appeal agreed with lawyer to the Labour Party, Mohammed Magaji SAN, that contrary to the findings of the tribunal, Okolie was duly nominated and sponsored by his party, adding that he resigned his appointment as a senior special assistant to Delta State government as required by the Constitution. Now, speaking on behalf of residents of Aniocha or Shimili Federal Constituency, Maduka Abuchuku in Asaba said the appeal court judgment is a blessing from God, adding that it was high time the constituency tried fresh hands. The Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital, has reserved judgment in the petition filed by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, David Umbudagu, challenging the declaration of Governor Abdullahi Sule as the winner of the March 18 election in the state. The PDP governorship candidate in the March 18 election in Nasarawa State had shortly after the election asked the tribunal via his petition to declare him the winner of the election on the grounds that he scored the highest votes cast on the ballot. But in their final addresses, counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Modi Diko, that of Governor Abdullahi Sule, Sule Wale, Olanipekun, and their All Progressives Congress APC counterpart Hassan Lehman all asked the tribunal to strike out the petition for lack of merit. Chairman of the tribunal, Ezekiel Ajayi, after listening to addresses from all councils, reserved judgment to a later date. The Senate on Thursday threatened to take legal action against the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) over the claim that lawmakers got 100 million naira each as palliative from the federal government. An aide to NLC President Joe Ajaero, Christopher Onyeka, was reported to have said members of the National Assembly received over 100 million naira each as palliative to cushion the effect of the petrol subsidy removal. The Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramotu dismissed the claim, describing it as strange, ludicrous, and unthinkable. Adaramotu, in a statement on Thursday, said the claim was another satanic ploy of a miserable gang of media and political dark angels to bring the Nigerian parliament to disrepute and pitch the legislators against the Nigerian public. He asked the public to, especially the Nigerian workers, to disregard the claims. You're watching News Update on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. Reasons why traders rush for Jigawa millet. More news when we come back. Stay with us.
That's great. That's good to see you.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news update on Trust Television. A recap of our major stories. Power supply restored after national grid collapse. Acting Inspector General of Police warns people in possession of illegal firearms to surrender them or face the law. To more news now, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Zak Adedeji as the new acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the FIRS. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale announced this in a statement on Thursday. He said the president directed the erstwhile FIRS chairman Mohammed Nami to proceed on a 3-month paid retirement leave as provisioned by the Public Service Rule number 120243 with immediate effect, leading to his eventual retirement from service on December 8, 2023. Ngelale added that by these directives of the president, the new appointment takes immediate effect. Adedeji's appointment is in acting capacity for a 90-day period before his subsequent confirmation as the substantive executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service for a term of 4 years in the first instance. Now, prior to his appointment, Adedeji served as a special advisor to the president on revenue after serving as Oyo State Commissioner for Finance and as Executive Secretary and CEO of the National Sugar Development Council. And businessmen are coming to various markets in Jigawa State to buy millet from farmers for onward delivery to Nigeria Republic. Now, these markets include Shuwarin Market in Kewaya Local Government Area, Gujungu Market in Tore Local Government Area, Malamadori Market, Laraba Tambourine Guane in Dusi Local Government Area, the Kewaya Market, among others in the state. Now, the largest Magateri Market at the Nigeria-Niger border serves as the place where the millet is stored and exported to Niger Republic. Bashi Badamasi, who runs the broader change at the market, who daily trusts that the market is always filled up with millet and sold at low price. And Suleiman Mohammed, a farmer in Dusi Local Government Area, said he sold his millet 2 weeks ago at 750 naira per mudu, but when he went back to the market this week, the price has jacked up to 1,100 naira per mudu. Manu said he sold his grains to buy something in his house, but now the story has changed because, as he said, I cannot buy the millet anymore. Now, in business, with over 133 million people in Nigeria affected by multidimensional poverty, the World Food Programme WFP says it is committing to spend $2.5 billion to fight hunger in Nigeria in the next 5 years. Country Director of the WFP, that's the World Food Programme, David Stevenson, made this known when he led a team from the United Nations Agency to visit the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, in her office. Stevenson said that 2.1 million Nigerians have already been captured as beneficiaries of the program, a figure that will be expanded with the help of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The Minister, Betta Edu, commended the WFP country director for the visit and financial support. She said the Zero Hunger is one of the projects her ministry has initiated as part of poverty and humanitarian response efforts. And away from Nigeria now, Eastern Libya's Health Minister Othman Abdul Jalil on Thursday said Derna has begun burying its dead, mostly in mass graves. More than 3,000 bodies were buried by Thursday morning, the minister said, while another 2,000 were still being processed. He said most of the dead were buried in mass graves outside Derna, while others were transferred to nearby towns and cities. Abdul Jalil said rescue teams were still searching wrecked buildings in the city center, while divers were combing the sea off Derna. Untold numbers could be buried under drifts of mud and debris, including overturned cars and chunks of concrete that rise up to 13 feet high. Rescuers have struggled to bring in heavy equipment as the floods washed out or blocked roads leading to the area. Health authorities have put the death toll in Derna at 5,500 as of Thursday morning. The number of deaths is likely to climb as searches continue, and at least 9,000 people are still missing, said Osama Ali, a spokesperson for an ambulance center in eastern Libya. And in sports, the National Stadium in Lagos this Thursday came alive as a table tennis team heading to Egypt for the Paralympic Games qualifiers begins camp. Now, this is just as the Paralympics Committee of Nigeria seeks more tickets to Paris 2024. Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, Algeria, Lesotho, and 5 others are expected to converge in Cairo, Egypt from September 20 to 23 for the 2023 African Para Table Tennis Championships, which is a qualification tournament for Paralympic Games. Now, Commonwealth medalists Isau Ogunkunle, Faith Obazoaye, Ifechukwude Ikpoyi top the list of Nigerian contingent to the tournament. Already the players have arrived from their various bases in Lagos for the final preparations for the qualifiers as Ogunkunle Obazoaye target their second appearance at the Paralympic Games, while Ikpeoyi will be aiming for her first outing at the Games. Now, being the final preparation before their departure next week to Egypt, Obazoaye, a two-time Commonwealth Games medalist, believes she is aiming for a medal in Paris after narrowly missing out from podium at Tokyo 2020. Now, President of Paralympic Committee of Nigeria, Sunday Odebode, has said that Nigeria will be aiming for more slots at the Paralympic Games. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust Television this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live streams for more news, programs, and documentaries. And that's it this hour. Thanks for watching. I am Nten Ekpang. Bye for now.